All right, in this video, I wanted to cover 5 more sneakers that I regret buying. Most recently, 2022. Basically, I did this video like midway through 2022, and I'll recap some of those in just the beginning of this video. But then I wanted to go ahead and add on some of the ones from like June onwards of the ones that I pretty much regret buying. Now, just throwing this out there, if you guys bought any of these sneakers that I'm going to be talking about and you don't regret buying them, obviously, that's totally fine as well. There's some reasons why I give in this video of reasons why I think that I regret them a bit, but there's also ones that I'm like, dude, why did I sell those shoes and stuff? But I'm not going to cover those ones in this video. Any which way, if you guys are enjoying this type of video, drop a comment and let me know other top 5 videos you guys would like to see on my channel. I'm trying to bring them back. I used to do Top 5 Tuesday years ago, and I want to be a little bit more consistent, bringing you guys at least a weekly top 5 video. So keep that in mind. Leave those comments and let's go ahead and jump right in. First things first, it was actually roughly a top 8 of the ones that I regretted buying up through middle of last year, and I'll go ahead and just recap quick. Adidas Allbirds shoes, they were too snug and a little bit too narrow. The Sacai Nike Blazer Lows, just something I couldn't really get past the look and couldn't really feel like I pull it off. The Nike AJK01 Billie Eilish. Nike Crater Impact is another one, super firm midsole, not very comfortable at all for myself. And then I had the Air Jordan 1 Retro High OG Brotherhood colorway, just one that I just wasn't really vibing with. And this is before all of the crazy restocks on them, but those ones really didn't honestly sell out. They just kind of went away. Then we had the Nike CDG Foamposites. Really actually kind of regret selling those ones now because I sold them for like $350 or something like that on Whatnot the other month. And they retailed like $550, $580, somewhere around there. Crazy expensive. Anyway, there was also the Nike Air Sesh, which is a pair of sneakers that was designed by Tinker Hatfield, that was made specifically for dancers. I didn't want to be called out in the streets wearing those guys, so I sent those ones back. They look kind of cool though. And then you have the Yeezy basketball knit sneakers, was my number one regret. Couldn't even get those things on. I don't even know if I got my money back from sneakers and stuff from that one. It was one of those things where you send it on with the label, and I probably should check that at the end of this video. Anyway, moving on to the next 5 though, and this is from June onwards to the end of the year basically. And we have the Nike Off-White Air Force One Mid. Now, I'm not a mid hater. I actually like Air Force One mids. I had a white on white Air Force One mid, and then I also have a Nike Lab, like chocolate brown, super nice leather Air Force One mid. But this one specifically just looks really, really weird. Now, for those that don't know, the Air Force One is actually the very first Nike basketball model that had Nike Air in the midsole. Pretty cool fact there. And this version was kind of cool because he gave a visible window on the Air Force One, which is not traditionally there. Obviously, when the Air Force One originally came out, they didn't have a visible window available for them. They didn't come out with visible windows for a couple more years. But it looks really warped in this version, and the midsole is crazy heavy. Midsoles are normally crazy heavy on the Air Force One, but this is actually even more heavy. And then the weird nibs and stuff, and I don't know, just the color blocking of this one just didn't really settle right with me. And I thought images of them were like kind of ugly, but if I got them on feet, I thought I might like them a little bit more. Not the case. Didn't like them anymore, unfortunately, and so that reason, one of the ones I regret from last year. Moving on and segueing into the 4th one that I regret, and that is the Nike Nocta Hotstep, the Drake-inspired sneaker. This is one that I was like, you know what, I'm gonna like this as soon as I get it in. I know that they pulled inspiration off of an older model, and it kind of has some ACG vibes and a little chunkier 2000s era Nike shoe. And I'm a huge fan of 2000 era Nike sneakers. I have a bunch of them that most people probably don't even know, like the Sirocco's, the Sunders, the Tailwind 4s, which retroed and kind of failed. But I like that whole era, and this is just one where I was like, I just didn't like it. In hand, on feet, I was like, nah. And you guys leave a comment or a like on the video if you guys know that feeling. When you see a pair of sneakers online and you see an image and you're like, ah, it's okay. Then you get them in hand, you're like, okay, this is much better. And then you throw them on feet and you're like, okay, now I really, really understand. This is a fire shoe. This is like the experience that I was hoping to get for some of these sneakers, and it just didn't end up happening. The Nocta is that one, unfortunately. I've seen it in a couple different colorways. Not any of them can really save the silhouette. And the resale value on the sneaker is a fairly good indicator that this is just not a very desirable sneaker. Now, and just to throw this out there, you can have limited edition hype sneakers that are like, you know, super highly sought after, and they could be absolutely terrible looking. That's totally fine. And you could also have people that really like the designs and stuff. And I think every individual is their best judge of whether they like something or not. So there's no digs at people that actually end up liking this stuff. These are just some of the things that I wanted to call out. Number 3 on my list, we have a pair that I actually like again, but on feet, it just wasn't working for me. And that is the Nike Air Max Scorpion. Now this shoe, the upper is really, really really fire. I love the concept of what they're trying to do, and I'm a pretty big fan of just Nike Air in general and the history of it. And I like that they're trying to bring it into the mainstream in a modern day twist still with a new revamped version, bigger and better. Bigger than the Vapor Max, probably twice as wide, to be honest. The Vapor Max was actually kind of fun as well, but it was really, really narrow, and so the Scorpion kind of solves that because it's so much wider, but it's a thick boy, dude. It's a really, really big boy. And you know what, like, I tried wearing them around just casually, driving to Costco, around Costco. It was pretty uncomfortable in Costco, pretty uncomfortable to drive because of how big, and the shape on the outsole is not like uniform, so it's like really like hard to drive, honestly, with those things. The price point's crazy high on them as well. It's just one of those sneakers that I really wanted to like, and then again, didn't really end up happening. So they do have some other colorways that are pretty cool, just not a model that I see myself getting more pairs of. I still have one that I'm going to keep for reference, but I'm not going to be buying any more of the model. And the next on the list, we have the Jordan System 2-3. Now, this is another one of those ones that I really wanted to like, and there's other versions of this type of sneaker that I actually don't mind. There's the Adidas version, the Adifoam Q, that I actually thought looked pretty good. There's also that Saucony version that I reviewed that I think is better than all three of the ones that I'm talking about, just in the overall looks of the product. But all of them kind of have this fundamental issue, which is the sizing of the shoe. So the 2-3 is made to be able to be worn multiple ways. You could actually have two pairs of sneakers from one, but the problem is it's a sneaker boot that's really, really snug and tight, and it's not really functional. I don't really see myself ever wearing them outside of the house, and even inside the house, I don't see myself wearing them. Then you have the Croc clog-like outer construction, which is not bad on its own as well, but the problem is it's a little bit too big. Because you take that inner booty out, now you have just the Crocs clog sort of vibe thing. It just doesn't really work very well independently. It's not an overly great looking shoe as well. They kind of went with that clog mule look to it, which is generally fairly ugly still, but usually you get over the ugliness by the functionality. That's why Crocs, in my opinion, is winning. It's still ugly, but it's very functional. These are not as functional. I just don't see them actually being used separately. They're really better together, but the inner liner is just a little bit too snug. I do like the elephant print on the knit though. It looks really cool. And if I'm wrong and there's use cases for these things inside or separate or whatever, leave some comments on like what you've done if you've bought this shoe. Anyways, making it to the #1 spot. If you guys are enjoying the content, drop a like on the video, subscribe if you guys want to see more videos. I'll leave a playlist in the description of other top 5 videos that I've covered. But the #1 pair that I regret buying in 2022, pretty much no contest, it was the Nike MMW 005 slides. These things were really cool in pictures, and then I got them in hand and I was like, nah, dude, these are terrible. It was 160, I think, maybe $160 for them. Super expensive, super overpriced no matter what. The overall shape looks fine. I think it looks futuristic and stylish, but then you look closer and you can see all the little porous holes all over. Ugh. It just makes it trigger warning big time, but it just makes me barf with the little holes all over the place. It's just absolutely disgusting for me to look at, honestly. And honestly, it's just not a functional shoe. I think functionality is the counterpart to having a proper pair of footwear, whatever it might be, sneakers, slides, whatever it is. It has to be functional. And these have these little hard plastic pieces that stuck out the sides that really just were kind of dangerous. You could cut somebody with them. I don't know. It just seems like a bad design, especially for a dad, somebody with kids. Overall, I wanted to like them. They weren't uncomfortable by any means. They were actually pretty comfortable, but at the end of the day, the holes is a no-go for me. The way that they had them integrated specifically looked like some sort of a disease that I don't want to get. Anyway, that is my #1 choice. Do you guys have any regrets from buying sneakers from 2022 or recently, or just any regrets that you guys have from sneaker point of view? Leave some comments in the comment section. Let other people know what you guys bought and then you thought they were going to be better than they were, and then you decided, nah, it was not worth the money. I'm sure a lot of people are going to be mentioning that about Jordan Retros that you guys have bought in the last handful of months, because those things have been bricks, man. They've been sitting like crazy. But as I mentioned in the past, that's an opportunity for those people that actually really want the shoe, because now they can get them at retail and even under retail when they go on sale. Hopefully you guys are able to get some of the pairs you guys want for a discounted rate. But that's the end of the video. Thank you guys for stopping by and watching. If you guys are interested in seeing any of my other videos on the screen, click the videos, and appreciate you all for stopping in. But have a good one. All right, peace guys.